Hello, welcome back to another video on Vedic astrology. This time I'm going to speak about the connection that Vedic astrology has with Ayurveda, the science of health. In ancient India, astrology and Ayurveda coexisted. Whenever you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, he might look at you and tell that if you're thin, then he may say that you are a Vatta person, and if you are a little bit in between, being fat and thin, then he would probably call you as a Pitta person. And if you are very bulky, maybe more than 90 kgs, then then the doctor is going to tell that you are a Kapha person. And then the other part is that all these three doshas, you are not actually one particular type all through your life. Ayurveda will say that you are a Vata Prakriti. Prakriti means that is your basic nature. You are born with it, and that's permanent. So that's something which is not going to change. Vikriti is something else, which means that what is your humor right now? Are you right now a Vata person, or a Pitta person, or a Kapha person? So that's the point. Based on the effects of transit, your body type might change. For example, I have always noticed that during 7.5 year Saturn phase, a person becomes more Vata in nature, and that could be temporary. But let's say the person is already, by Prakriti also, is a Vata person, then it can aggravate. So in this video, I'm going to just focus on Vata. If you are used to the Hindu way of worshipping goddess Mahalakshmi, you might have chanted or recited the 108 names of Mahalakshmi, and it starts with Om Prakritya Namaha, Om Vikritya Namaha. So these two words are the basic Ayurvedic terms of health. Prakriti is your very nature, and Vikriti is what you are right now. So in a very subtle way, the ancient people have expressed this point that wealth is obtained only if there is health. The three main planets for Vata, leading number one is Saturn. The other one is Rahu. The third one is Mercury. Most people may put a question mark on this. Is it true that Mercury is connected to Vata? Yes, it is. There's lots of proofs from Bhrigu Sutra to all the classical textbooks. There is the link with Vata, but it is in the third level. But the first one is of course Saturn. So let's do a simple case study. If this is the ascendant and then you have Saturn here, this person will suffer from Vata. Now Vata diseases, Vata actually means slowing down, or Saturn represents the cold. So cold, and Saturn represents dryness. Ice itself is in a dry form, like in winter. So Saturn represents anything that slows you down, maybe arthritis, maybe physically challenged, lots of trouble due to constipation. So people having this combination usually get into piles and fistula, and this can also mean colon. So whenever there is trouble, it is better that one goes through regular checkup for all these diseases. And Saturn in the first house has the maximum influence or the trouble through Vata. Now this is Saturn in the first house, but then you can have Saturn in the first house like this. Then you can have Saturn in the first house this way. So you can have 12 types of Saturn in the first house. So each one will obviously be different, and this would be the worst case, and this might be the best one. So if you have Lagna here and then Saturn sitting here, because Saturn is exalted, you will find that you will not be actually troubled by Vata to that extent as much as this person is. This will be 100%, and this might be just about 10%. In the same way, you can find Saturn here, own house status, and then here. But remember, this is not the final test. You need to check the strength of Saturn. If this Saturn is really very weak in Shadbala, very weak, then this will be a big trouble. And let's say if this Saturn in your Shadbala is weak, it can happen sometimes. It's a mistake to think that an exalted planet will be strong in Shadbala too, because exaltation is just one aspect of Shadbala. So there's no guarantee that if Saturn is exalted in Shadbala, it is very strong. So you need to check this out. And the same way here also. So anywhere, whenever you want to know the real strength of planets, always you must check the Shadbala. Let's do another case study. If this is the Lagna and then you have Saturn here and let's say Mercury here, it's possible. Maybe even the Sun is here, but we don't really care about that in this topic. So let's say Saturn and Mercury are here and Rahu is here. So which is the 7th house. So the 7th house is the specific house of Vatta, connected to Vatta disease, and in general also the 7th house is related to Vatta. So here it aggravates further because Rahu is also a Vata planet and it is sitting right here. And since they are mutually aspecting each other, this can be real trouble from the diseases of Vata. This person can have constipation most of the time, maybe having lots of colon problems or intestinal problems, possibility of appendicitis, maybe the appendix operation is already done, and it can really make the person have dry skin and maybe dandruff and tooth decay and bone and joint related problems, the nervous problems, etc. You can understand from this how Saturn is linked, how you can actually determine from the horoscope what is the type of the Prakriti. There are other ways of knowing if you are a Vata person. One is by the positions of planets. It's not only Saturn is involved with this, there are other planets. Other peculiar combinations are also listed, are said to cause Vata disease, which might be a surprise. So let me tell you one by one. Saturn the 1st, Saturn the 6th is very strong. Saturn the 6th means you can have sudden shooting pain in your intestine. It can really be bothersome. Rahu in the 8th is also said to cause Vata. This is as per Sage Bhrigu. Strangely, Sage Bhrigu also says that Moon in the 3rd house can also cause Vata. We have no idea on how Moon got connected to Vata, but in this case he says yes. The other combinations are Mars in the 12th and Venus in the 1st house. Venus is actually a primary Kapha planet, but sometimes can become the problem, may be connected to Vata. In which case there could be problems through the kidneys, the stones in the kidney, because stones is always related to Saturn, and Venus is that area where the water is there. So sometimes you will find that planets are not perfectly one type. There might be certain other connections. So in reality, we are not only just one basic type. We can be a mixture of two humors. But the best thing that you can do is, after getting an opinion from your Ayurvedic doctor, it's always better to also consult an astrologer and see if his findings match your horoscope. And the other idea is that the Ayurvedic doctor also learns Vedic astrology, so he himself can do this. And in Brihat Parashara Parashastra, Maharishi Parashara says if the 7th lord is in the 1st house, then also the person can be afflicted by Vata disorders. And in the same way he says if the 7th lord is in the 7th, then also the person can actually be suffering from Vata diseases, in which case he will remain as a Vata Prakriti, and that will be the main problem that is going to go through. Another way to use astrological wisdom is that if you are already troubled by Saturn, and then there is the Ashtama Shani or some of your Saturn period going on, then you will become more and more of a Vata person, really disturbing your career and life. In conclusion, I would like to say that Saturn, by observing Saturn, by learning more about the nature of Saturn, you can understand everything about Vata disease. The simplest way of knowing which disease is connected to Saturn, just think about Saturn as the planet that can slow you down. So any problem in your physical body can slow you down is always attributed to Saturn. I hope this video has been interesting to you, and I'm planning to do a lot more videos on this topic. This is my favorite topic because I always felt that astrology must be connected to Ayurveda somehow, because health is wealth. Until my next video, goodbye.